Hello guys, welcome to Various Gaming. Today we're going to have a look at the Switch. Everything mentioned in this video is going to be linked up in the description below, and I'm going to divide it by US and UK so that you can make sure that you get the right region. This is Nintendo's newest released console, and it has been released so far in two different versions. You got the one with the red and blue, and you have the one with the gray Joy-Cons. So what does the Nintendo Switch have that other games don't have, or is it worth getting? Something I think Nintendo really has succeeded with when making this one is that they have made it so compatible with moving, and that's one of the basic things that they just focused on when they developed this. You grab your Switch and leave the house, and this function is really seamless. Something I do not like about the Switch, it only has a 32GB built-in memory, and which also is used for system information. That means you only have about 23 gigabytes of storage in these things. So if you're getting one of these, I would definitely recommend you to look at a micro SD card to buy with it, and you could buy either the micro SD card with a lot of storage, or you buy plenty SD cards with less storage and have an SD card for each game or whatever. It's really up to you. I personally bought a bigger SD card so I don't have to switch it. Let's have a look at the actual product. Speaking of micro SD cards, you add the micro SD card under here, right there. So the Nintendo Switch looks like this actually, and I really like the aesthetics of it. It's very sleek, doesn't take a lot of space, and it's very easy to just hide away anywhere. The Switch with the gray Joy-Con versions is the ones that sold out quickest and are the hardest one to get a hold on. I think most people should be able to get one if they want to now. I personally like the red and blue. The reason I do that is because they feel like two different controllers, and if you're going to use the Nintendo Switch with like a multiple controller device, this is a nice attribute to have the Joy-Cons in different colors. That way it's very easy not to mix up the difference in the controllers that you see, because there is quite a difference in them, even though they have the same function when you split them up. We can look at the plus side. We have these regular buttons, we have the joystick, we have home button, and we have this plus button. On the shoulders we have two buttons, almost like any other gamepad out there. When looking at the left side, we got the same thing. They don't have these labeled except for the arrows. You have a little square right there, which is a built-in function in the Switch, for which you can just snap a quick screenshot from the game or whatever you're playing or doing. That snapshot will be saved automatically, and when you go to the home menu, you could open it up, and from the home menu you could easily share it to Twitter and such. So that's a really nice function. It makes it much easier to share your gameplay via Twitter and social media. So let's remove the actual game from this and look at the docking station. It's as simple as just pulling up. The docking station is really small. I like the design. It's very simple, and something to think about is this is not the actual console. The console is this one. So this is what carries and packs the whole thing. This is basically just to convert your screen to your TV, and it's a very simple construction. It's just as simple as that, and that's an USB-C port. You can dock, when you dock your game into this, it instantly pops up on the TV if you get the TV started. In the back, Nintendo has done something I really like. It's very simple. The fact that you do this, you open it up, and in here we got the AC adapter, we got a USB port and the HDMI out. You can jack them in there and pull the cables out through either the side of the case, or you could just take it out in the back as well. This is a very simple function that is really cool just to tidy up your cables. You do have USBs here as well. This dock is actually the one thing that they currently do not sell by itself. That's something I would really want them to sell these docks by themselves as well. The reason for that is that you could buy more docks, and if you have like in your summer house and in your normal house, you could keep just the dock standing in the house, and when you arrive with your Switch, you could just play it in. I mean, since the Nintendo Switch, since this isn't the gaming console, they should be able to sell this as an accessory as well, just like they do with the Joy-Cons and the wrist straps. I'm gonna show you what else comes in the box. You get these wrist straps for the Joy-Cons. You use these if you're going to use the Joy-Cons as single controllers instead of using them as one controller. I'm gonna show you how that works as well. I think this is a little fiddly when you're trying to get this on there. Make sure, this is important, make sure you line this up with the corresponding on your controller or on your Joy-Con. If we turn it around, you see we got the minus right there. So I'm going to hook this one up to my minus controller or my blue controller. Okay, so the Joy-Con looks like this when removed from the Nintendo Switch, and this is where we're going to use the wrist strap. It's going to attach to here and make this a small controller so that you have another controller if you're going to play like co-op, or if you're going to play versus, or like playing the game 1-2 Switch, which has just been released as well. Make sure I line them up. I got minus, and I slide it down, and everything in the Nintendo Switch has this click sound, which is really nice. Actually, it just gives some sense of quality, or something that you know that you've done something right. So let's slide this in place and listen to that. There we go. If I hold it like this, we can see this is now a solo controller with my joystick, my buttons. I got the shoulder buttons as well. Using your controller like this, I mean, I don't have big hands. My hands are not that big. These controllers feel really, really tiny. Having the buttons in the center like this makes the controller feel even tinier. I would like to have these buttons here. But on the other hand, when playing with the Joy-Con handle, or when I'm playing it on the Switch with both of them, this button placement is the better one. So that's a hard choice they had, probably, where they're going to place these, but it's okay, it works. Wrist strap is a really nice wrist strap. Actually, it's good quality, easy to change the size of it. Also, don't forget, when you have attached this, you can lock it into place so you don't accidentally send this one flying. You do that by pressing this one. A very common mistake people make is they lock it in place like this, and when it's locked, you can see, if we look right there, we can see it says lock. They lock it in place like this, forget they have it locked, and then they try to undo it. When they do that, they are going to destroy the locking mechanism. So make sure that when you're going to remove this, to unlock it by doing that. Your next step is, if we turn it over, we got a little black button right there. Push it in and slide this part up. This is very fiddly and I do not like this function at all with these straps. It feels like you're going to break something when you're doing this. Well, I can slide it off. Even if it feels like I'm going to break something when I'm using the wrist strap, when I'm actually attaching this to the switch, it feels just the opposite. Place the controller right there. Click it in place. On the bottom, you got this USB-C port. That's where it charges when you got it in dock. When you're on the go, it has quite low battery time, 3-4 hours maybe. And people think this sucks, but the battery is actually pretty good considering how much energy this thing consumes. You can get a power bank and get a USB to USB-C cable and jack your power bank in there. So if you're going to be somewhere where you're away from power supply for a longer time, you can get that. Make sure that you get at least the 2 amp or the iPad charger one, so that it's managing to charge while you're actually playing. If your charger is too weak, you're going to have the problem that you cannot charge the battery while playing. You're going to have to switch it off and just leave it in place for a while and let it charge. Of course, when you buy the console, you get the AC adapter for the dock, and that's very easy to use. You can buy additional of those as well. So if you're near a power supply, that's probably the easiest way. When we're looking at the back, you can see we got this kickstand. If you are using this remotely, like so, I like playing them like this rather than having them attached to the sides. Let's look at the top. We got heat sinks. This thing does actually get quite warm when using it, and this is because this is the whole system right here. You got the 3.5 jack for your headphones. Sadly, the Nintendo Switch does not have the compatibility with Bluetooth headsets. Would be surprised if they don't add that function later on. Or the built-in speakers, of course. You have the power button right here. You have the volume, and you have the slot where you put your game card. You release your game card just like you do with a micro SD card. And it got, of course, it has a touchscreen. These buttons, plus and the minus, are going to work like start and select, basically. So they're used pretty much every time you play the game. I'm going to remove these Joy-Cons and attach them to the Joy-Con grip and show that to you. I've seen a lot of people that don't think this is comfortable to hold. So what they're doing is that they're unscrewing this, removing just this plate and attaching the Joy-Cons to that and think it's better. Personally, I like it the way it is. It's okay. I'm waiting for the Pro Controller because I think that's much better, of course, but this will do for now, and it works the same way as the gaming console, and it clicks in place. My main concern when I bought this was that holding a controller that is this square is probably gonna hurt my hands, but they have actually made this shape pretty comfortable to hold, and with my normal size hands it works perfect. Some people think that this joystick is in the way for these buttons. As you see, when I'm holding my controller, I do not have that problem. Okay, I'm hoping you got all the information you need about Nintendo Switch to make a decision if you want to buy this console or not. Tell me what you think about the Switch. Is it something that you already got? Is it something you're thinking about buying? Or are you going to pass on this one? Leave a comment in the section below, and don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and as always, have a good one.